All right, everyone, it is that time of year. One of the most asked things that you will ask us when you see us is, what is the snowfall forecast for the season? It's just a popular thing. So it's time. Your Next Weather team has put together the 2025-2026 winter snow forecast. We always enjoy doing this. It really is fun because it gives us something a little bit different to look at. Longer range forecast, not just is it going to rain tomorrow or is it going to snow tomorrow or the next day. I want to show you some of the things that we look at when we're looking at the longer range. Okay, we'll head up north and we'll say, well, what are the winds doing up in the Arctic and the North Atlantic regions? You may have heard the term polar vortex. Okay, it's the winds up in the Arctic spinning around. Is it showing signs of wobbling a little bit? Because if it does, sometimes you get cool air blasts that come down. That can help forecast what the winter might do, depending on how that's acting. We look at the snowpack that's already there in the northern latitudes, the Siberian snowpack, the North American snowpack. It also can make a difference if the snowpacks are greater than normal. Add some cold air to the atmosphere, showing signs of already getting more snow. That could have an impact on our overall forecast. We'll look at the probabilities from the Climate Prediction Center. And are they forecasting above normal chances for above normal precip or vice versa? We take all that into consideration, but one of the biggest things that we look at is, what are the ocean waters doing when it comes to temperatures in the equatorial Pacific? Are they warmer than average? If so, it's called El Nino. Or are they cooler than average? If they are, it's called La Nina. Or perhaps they're sitting right in the middle and kind of where they should be, and we call that neutral. And believe it or not, those water temperatures can shift the overall weather patterns up in our country. And it really does have a moderate impact. So we look at all those, and then there's one other thing that we look at, and that is our local climatology. What can we expect here on any given year? Because our local climatology for snow is very different than Minneapolis, Minnesota, or Marquette, Michigan. Certainly different, much different than San Diego, right? So here in Philadelphia, we get on average 23.1 inches per year. That is based on a 30-year average, and our averages run from 1991 to 2020. And every 10 years, our averages are updated, including the monthly averages. So in November, we will get on average over the 30 years, the 30-year data, the normal is 0.2. 3.5 in December, then we go up. January and February are our snowiest months, and then it drops down. March 3.6, in April just 0.3. So this is how it all adds up when we look at our normals, okay? Well, what about the last 5 years? How did we do? Well, last year, you might remember, we had that snow game with the Eagles. You remember that? 8.1, but most of that occurred in 2 different storms. Then the year prior, we had 11.2. Decent snow, but still about half of where he should be. You might recall 2022 and 23, 0.3 of an inch, tied for the second least ever, just shy of the 1 year back in the 70s where we had no snow officially in Philadelphia. But then we go back prior to that, we go to the 2020-2021 season, and that was the last time we had at or above normal snowfall. Okay, so we've looked at all that, and another thing I want to point out, so again, last year, kind of a tidbit here, 8.1 inches. One of the things we look at, we go, okay, that's obviously a third of what we should do. So I went back and looked at 4 or 5 other years that we had just 8 inches of snowfall, regardless of what was happening with El Nino or La Nina. And so, okay, well, when we had 8.1, a third of normal, what did the next year look like? And all 5 of those years, the next year was considerably more, with an average of 177% more. Okay, all of them. So you go, okay, well, that gives you a little more, kind of credit as to where we're going with this. All right. So that's a little bit behind the scenes, pulling back the curtains. We looked at all that. We ran all the data. The Next Weather team did our own forecast. Then we got together. We collaborated, said, okay, what are we thinking? Okay. We have a weak La Nina to neutral year. Last year, we had a weak La Nina to neutral year. Long story short, your Next Weather team is forecasting at or slightly below normal, and so our forecast is calling for 18 to 24 inches of snow. And that's for the season. Now, this is very different. What's interesting is that we can get 23 inches of snow that occurs in 2 storms, and those 2 storms would shut our city down if we had 10-inch snowstorms. Or we could get a couple dozen days where we get an inch, half an inch, and it makes a significantly less impact than if we all get it at once. But at the end of the season, this is what we're going with, 18 to 24 inches. Where it all ends up, where the heaviest spots are, will be determined by the low pressure systems and where they go. But for now, that is your next weather 2025-2026 snow forecast.